G'day everybody, it's Dave from Wing Chun Mind Force. Welcome to my last episode about the dummy for now. The dummy, like other parts of Wing Chun, has great depth. There's always other things you could say about it, but I'm just going to finish it off without labouring every single point I've covered in the last 3 videos. The major concepts about approaching the dummy as a training tool, at the level of having learnt Bill G well, you're ready to think more about fighting as far as things you can do against the dummy. But my advice and the way I've been taught is to start off softly. Just attempt to apply everything you know in Wing Chun softly against this dummy, because in Wing Chun small movements are big. And that's why the dummy's arms don't move much. I remember when I first looked at a dummy, I thought, shouldn't they have a bit more spring in them so you could sort of knock them out of the way? Now I understand it's helped you subtly refining your stillness and softness and emptiness, so that when you touch it, you're not sort of whacking, you're just allowing that soft internal energy, using the mind force, using your Nim Dao, to apply all your weight to that dummy. Before I go on to the dummy, I found this the other day. Somebody had chucked it out. It reminded me of virtually the first lesson I ever learned in Wing Chun. Sifu Jim, my Sifu, told us about the concept of a wheel. And he specifically said a bicycle wheel. And he said that the centre of this wheel, that's your centre. Okay, and the rim is your arms or your body, the external part of you. So I guess you could think of it as your body, because your arms really adjust. In Wing Chun, your arms are just projections of the body. I don't believe in thinking about joints, so I think it's a good idea to think about joints sometimes to get the feeling of effortless moving your joints, but then you want to go beyond that, so you just move without thinking about mechanics. That's my take on it. But yeah, that centre line. And then he said to us, you're like a bicycle wheel. If somebody pushes straight onto it, it affects the centre straight in, but even the slightest deviation, they start getting turned off. And Wing Chun's full of bicycle wheels, like the way our arms work, the way our bodies work. Unless somebody's right, this is why we stick to the centre, unless somebody's right on your centre, you don't have to think about turning them away, they'll naturally get turned, because you stay completely relaxed and floating on that ball, and they'll get turned away. So meditate on bicycle wheels. Right, back to the dummy. Now I'm going to go through the form, and as I go through it I'll give you some pointers, and I might have to stop and think where I am, because I tend to, like most practitioners, go through the dummy like on a program, and I just think about what I'm doing in my centre as I go. So we've gone through this. Always attempting to, the centre's doing it, not the arms. Centre turns. Okay, then now I think that's where we got to. This one, remember, it's always the centre doing it, and it's like a diving bong sao. So it's like this, but you're getting turned, so it's like always up, always the whole body in it, okay? Not sort of trying to give it a bash, just always back in the body, always. And then a small step, and then whammo, boot, back. That's the same the other way. The bong sao, we're taking a bigger step, double, kick, body brings it back. Okay, just to point out with this one, this right, we do that in Bill G and we do that with the swords. So I think that we do it in the pole too, because in the pole we sort of step and turn like that. So can you see it's the same sort of thing? If you go to the left, it's the same thing. Same thing here. And always keeping your balance. Not leaning over like that, like a sort of a Bruce Lee type kick. Keeping up. Seafood Jim always talked about that too. Stay up, don't lean over, which I used to always do as a kickboxer. It looked pretty cool, but keep up, boom, always. You got this mass that you're dropping into them, not just booting them sideways, but you're sort of relaxing your mass into them as you kick. Boom. So even if you're going out like that, you're still thinking woof, like that. Right. Then dun, 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 dun. Then stand up, stand up. Boom. Stand up. Pop that in the ribs. This one, the hands dive down, sort of splitting the opponent's arms apart. You don't really need to think about trying to push these apart, which you won't because they're solid as a rock. But you just see how my knees move a little bit. It's really just a concept as if I'm a blob and I just go, I sort of drop. That's what I want to do, is like drop all my weight in and then you come up. So it's sort of like this, like it's a mental thing, but you sort of flow at it. It's like, imagine that you're just like water and you just flow at it. So right, then did that one. So now the Popeye section. So this is called bouncing hand. It's, I don't know the full meaning of the Chinese word, but Sigung calls it bouncing hand in his book. Hand means this whole thing, not just this. It's like chi sao is not sticking hands, this is the whole hand. The whole thing sticks. This is then always the center now. Boom. Right? That can sort of hurt your wrist. I don't have terribly flexible wrists, but the main thing is all of you's in it. Boom, like that. So it's now, really cool thing about Popeye and a sort of a kung fu movie fan idea is that apparently, now I don't know what Popeye exactly translates as. I must look into that, but I was told that Popeye, this movement, is called the Wing Chun Death Strike. It sounds sort of cool, a bit like Dim Mak or something, but it's not like that. But apparently I was told, I won't say who told me, I don't want to embarrass him if I'm wrong, but he said that the idea is you send your mind force in, and the force goes into the person's spine, and one travels up the spine and one travels down the spine. So it's like, see you, mate. Pretty nasty, isn't it? Remember, Wing Chun's only used in extremists. We don't go around picking fights with drunks in pubs or just showing off. That's the dark side. We don't do that. But this is pretty serious business, and I don't know if anyone can do this splitting people's spines thing, but anyway, that's the story. Boom, boom, boom. So next one is, now I have to say, looking through Sigung's book just before, for some reason, this bit I'm going to do now, he puts before the Popeye section, and I saw one of the seniors from Hong Kong do it that way, but when I look at the way I was taught and the way Sigung's earlier videos go, the Popeye comes first and then this section, whatever it's called. So in the long run, I don't suppose it really matters, but I'll look into that too, see if there's any reason why I changed it around. Also, for those of you from other lineages, you know that there's other moves that are used in the dummy that we don't use in the Chu Shong Tin, Sifu Jim sort of lineage. Now, there's nothing wrong with those other movements. I've heard that there was a lot more, and for some reason Yip Man dropped them, or Sigung Chu dropped them. It's above my pay grade. I don't know why you drop stuff. It's hard enough to remember this bloody thing. Those of you who are trying to learn will know what it's like. It seems like second nature to me now, but for a long time it was like, oh my god, this is so complicated. So the next part, it's like this, like sort of pretty much like in Bill G, but you just cop that, young Harold. You young guys won't know what the hell I'm talking about, it's just a really old saying. Yep, and then next, I'm back everybody. Sorry, I had a bit of a brain freeze, I had to go and watch Sigung doing that. Like, I've literally done this dummy form so many times, and I guess because I'm talking to you, I just like, suddenly I was like, I couldn't remember my own name. What do I do here? Anyway, I pretty much got it. So this is that second last part. So it's the right hand, this one, and a kick. So it's, and then you got my arm like that, and then step. Good. Now, I love this one because whenever people say to me, what would you do with your Wing Chun if you're going to have a fight? Would you go like that or something like that? Nah. I'd just go, no, I don't want to fight, mate. The guy comes at me, might be turned here. I just go, boom. The Chinese shoe flies off, kicks him in the cods. And I actually did that once to a guy, kicking pads, and his soft shoes came off, and the poor guy wasn't wearing a box, and he went down. But I said it was the shoe's fault, not me. I didn't actually kick him. But yeah, just multiple attacks, just boom, the leg, boom, bang, crash, three-pronged attack. Like the old Kung Fu proverb says, cut the roots and you fell the tree. Well, always give it to the legs and up top. They just can't do anything about that. And I had a friend, I was on a cruise, He's a huge man, about 6'6", and he was one of those hardcore karate, what do you call it? They have a special word, I think it's kumite, but it's essentially full contact fighter. He's a tough guy. And he was saying the usual, oh, you know, Wing Chun hasn't got a good reputation for fighting. Wing Chun's supposed to be a bit soft and weak and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, yeah, whatever. Just kept on trying to get me to fight. And I've said, look, no, you know, just spar. But I said, no, we're on an American ship. I'm not going to freak people out by two big guys having a blue. So one day we were at the gym and he just suddenly said, what would you do if I came at you like this? And I can't remember exactly what he did. He sort of lunged in through this powerful punch, and it sort of caught me slightly by surprise. And I just basically went boom like that. And I didn't really hit him, I just touched him. But he sort of bounced off, and he stood there looking at me like, dude, that was unexpected. What did you just do then? And I said, well, that's what I do. You know, I use my center, it's immovable, solid. And I hit you with everything I got. And he goes, very unexpected, not what I thought Wing Chun was about. So this part of the form, and then you sort of, so you boom, and here, I keep my guard up. That's why I said, I did it again because I dropped like that. But this just drops, right? And Sigung demonstrates on his videos that it could be sort of like a kick to the rear leg, and you can think through that, but for the purpose of training, you don't want to push, you want to just like drop everything on it. And then you take a little step, and this is where those tiny pivots, like this one we do, it's a sort of a tiny pivot like that, so it's like boom, and then and once again 3-pronged. Your center line connected to his center line, all your mats connected to his mats. Unless he's very good at Wing Chun, he's going down and he might be going flying if you're really serious. So last bit, right, and once again it's not up, you're connecting there. You sort of mentally you feel like you're grabbing that middle bit and shaking it, you know, throwing him, or I don't know, just making him lose his structure. Yeah. Like that. So that's it, and these sort of movements are incredibly powerful, and if you meet someone who's good at Wing Chun in our internal style, they'll have to be pretty good, like pretty high level, but anyone who's got a grip of the effortless power, you know, you can try to stop them. One thing we do is get somebody to put their hand on your shoulder, and Sigung does this in his video, on that classic video. Just goes crunch like that, and when somebody does it really well on you, it just feels like they just stood on your arm, and there's no way in hell you're keeping it there. You know, it's like somebody just stepped off a ladder and went on your arm. It just feels like that, like the whole weight's on you, it just crushes you. So you can see there, that's it. Or, you know, that's a combination, you're sort of moving your centre there like that. Alright, so that's the form of the dummy. Once again, I'll post a couple of, I'll post the official, I don't like to post unofficial stuff because it takes money away from Sigung's family, but I'll post the authorised version from Suzanna Ho's school. She allowed to go on the net of Sigung going through this form, and just be aware that even when people are really good at Wing Chun, sometimes Sigung in his demonstrations every now and then sort of fluffs it a little. I mean, no disrespect, but he's just, he's a human. He's aware of the camera. He's sort of thinking maybe slightly too much at times and gets slightly, he'll miss it or whatever. That's nothing. It's, it's the power that matters. And this is something we should do every single day. And I'm guilty of not doing it every single day, but making these videos, I've realised how much I love the dummy. I think I told you I call this Miss Chong. I like to think of it as a lady, like Yin Wing Chun or even the great master. But I tend to, I don't know, if I think of it as a woman, it's not like I want to beat up a woman, but it puts me more in touch with that soft yin energy, which is what Wing Chun's about. Alright, so lastly, I'd just like to say thanks so much for the brilliant comments, the encouraging comments I get all the time. I feel sort of humbled and greatly honoured by your really nice comments and really intelligent comments and long people. A number of people write me these really long, smart things and teach me things, and I've been learning a few things about the energy in my hand, which I'll share with you. I'm sort of just investigating the ideas, but always stick to your Wing Chun, stick to what you know. It's better not to, even though I'm one of the original MMA guys, like I literally started in 1975, so that's pretty original. And I just followed Bruce's theory that you should just grab stuff from all over the place. But now I don't think like that. I love the Japanese sword. I love to learn the Japanese sword, but I sort of know how to use the thing because I just do the same thing I do with our sword, with our pole. I just put my mind in it, let it do the cutting, let my mass do the job, use my subconscious where the superpower is. Stick to the Wing Chun as you're taught it. Don't confuse yourself cherry-picking Tai Chi or Qigong and stuff. Certainly get ideas from them that match in and be inspired by it, but at least until you're really, really sure of yourself in your Wing Chun, in the 6 forms and Chi Sao, what it's all about, don't go confusing yourself. Wing Chun doesn't lack, it's only our teachers lack often because they haven't been taught the whole system. There's really not that many people who've been taught the whole system. And even me, the people who've taught me have been high level, but I don't pretend that they taught me everything there is to know about things, especially the pole and the knives, which are, there's a lot to know, but I also think you can work it out for yourself. The principles are all there in the first 3 forms. And then the pole, the knives, the dummy, the knives and the pole, the same principles are there. It's just another level of difficulty, another level of yi, getting your mind into these weapons, still connecting to the other person, drawing the force in, the whirlwind, sort of, the whirlpool concept, not thinking, feeling, going back into your Nim Dao, getting out into the universe. There's lots of cool stuff to do. Anyway, see you next time.